everybody. We should be live, I think. Yeah, good enough. I think we're live.
Hi.
Yeah, Turtle, I wore this for you. Alright, so tonight we are making kind of a Asian style. Wow, it's really bright with the sun. Yeah.
Oh, that's worse.
I don't know. Sorry.
Give it a minute. That's a little better.
Yeah. Thank you for showing up early, most of you. It's great to see everyone already here. So we're gonna make a Asian-inspired pasta salad, kind of with a peanut dressing, a lot of raw vegetables, and yeah, it's gonna be good.
Some tofu.
Yeah, tofu. We can mix and match other proteins if you would like, but we're gonna go with tofu with our kind of dietary style. Something I haven't mentioned before that I like to do before I even start is I actually like to wet a paper towel and put it underneath the cutting board. That'll actually help it from sliding around. This cutting board is plastic. You'll see some wood ones. And usually you're working on somewhat of a slick surface, whether it be a, I don't know, granite countertop, laminate, steel, something. So you're like slidey on slidey, and it's kind of crappy. So I'm gonna give this a little moisture. And then throw this under my cutting board. And now it's nice and firm. Hey, Shorty, thanks for the follow and thanks for coming by. I am gonna start by putting some pasta on the stove because we need to get that cooking. My wife is prepping a lot of the vegetables that we'll be using. But I'm just gonna get our fun orange pot that we used previously.
And we'll go through what the ingredients we're using in just a minute. I'm just getting everything together. So we'll talk about all the stuff we've got here in just a moment.
So this is, it's on the small side, but I really like this pot. It's orange, which is my favorite color, and it's got a lid that has the strainer kind of built into it, so you don't have to do a bunch of extra crap in terms of cleaning, so pretty great. Okay. Yeah, so we're using baby bok choy as part of this, and it's pretty dirty, so we're double washing it. Should be kind of something you do for a lot of greens that you use. It's very common in things like spinach. You might even triple wash. Yeah, so. Can I get some water?
Oh yeah, sorry.
So I'm just going to go ahead and put water in the pot. I will salt the water as well. That just helps get some salt into the pasta while it's cooking. So, yeah, pot height, 420. That should just be cold water now. All right. Oh, and I I ordered a new camera and microphone, so I don't have to just be doing this off of my laptop, since everyone has seemed to enjoy this so much already. Hopefully that helps give you guys a little bit of a better experience with it. Giving you motion sickness, moving things around, instead of having some of the sunlight, issues. And with this camera, I'll be able to get like right on top of the cutting board, right on top of the stove, things like that. Before we start, I'll give you guys a peek of Kimbo waiting for her vegetables. She is waiting quite patiently. Say hi. She's kind of lazy tonight. She played a lot earlier. Oh, what's that? She's laying down. It's fine. Maybe later. Oh. All right. So, the water is heating up on the stove, just on a high heat. I tend to really prefer to use my own pasta, make my own pasta. I'm actually going to do a stream on that in the future. But for the short term, and so this isn't like a 4-hour stream, I'm going to use some pre-made pasta. I just have some like organic. This is made with semolina flour, which I actually really prefer to use than like a standard flour, your AP flour. It's made with corn a bit, so this isn't quite gluten-free, but you could actually sub out this the pasta in this dish for either some rice, some extra noodles, or I'm sorry, extra vegetables, or
like
even
rice noodles.
like rice noodles, buckwheat noodles, and that can make this dish entirely gluten-free.
You can find semolina pasta though that is gluten-free.
Yeah, there are varieties of semolina pasta that are entirely gluten-free. I know Jane, for example, is gluten-free, so that is something I want to be cognizant of as I'm going through some of the recipes to make sure you guys have an understanding of, things that can be done to go with different diets. And then I also tend to prefer rigatoni because my real name is Tony. So yeah, I always go with rigatoni for that.
It'll also hold the dressing that we're using really well. It'll like hang on to it.
Yeah, for this recipe, you wouldn't necessarily want to use like a long noodle pasta. It would not hold the dressing as well. Something that has either built-in ridges like a fusilli or even a penne. So areas that can really grip the sauce even that much more will just help make the dish pretty awesome.
And just easier to toss.
Yeah. By the way, I'm never sure with this whole streaming thing. Is music playing in the background? Yes, that is the stream in one emote. He found a dog that has a chef cap on it. All right, so
Get started on the carrots and cucumber.
Okay, I will get started on the carrots and the cucumber.
Yeah. So the vegetables we're using, you really can change up a lot of what's in it. A lot of it we're using just trying to get rid of stuff that's in our fridge, and you can change it depending upon what you do like or don't like. But you do want to use stuff that's a little more firm in texture, so that it holds up to the peanut dressing. So that has influenced some of the choices that we have made. And if you do want to substitute the noodles or, say rice if you wanted to or whatever, with more vegetables, you can use like romaine lettuce or more cabbage, which bok choy is a type of cabbage. You could use like napa cabbage or just even green cabbage, or like I said, romaine lettuce to give it some more bulk instead of using a pasta or a grain. So those are some other options that you could do.
I discovered why the sound is not working.
Rock and a Doji 45, my brothers doing the do. We're traveling the globe, trying to take it back to 92. Y'all used to it, the way we do what we do. Make you see move quick.
Hopefully that worked. I attempted to add music. I haven't. Peeler. So, music is super loud. Jesus. God damn it. Let's turn it down. Let me know if that's better. Okay. So, our friend the cucumber. The zucchini's cousin that also looks like a penis. We're going to start with peeling this because we're going to keep it in its raw form. And I'm sorry, yeah, the music was loud. Is it better now or is it still like super loud? I don't know. I'm struggling with the music. It's okay. Oh, I'm bad at this. It's amazing. My first stream and second stream, I was able to figure it out so easily. Now I'm like Kate. Alright, so relatively peeled cucumber. And I'm going to peel some carrots. These are actually some heirloom carrots. So we've got an orange one, purple one, and like a off-white one, almost kind of resembles a parsnip. I don't really have any specific strategies for peeling. Try not to peel yourself.
And if we'd used like an English cucumber or the tiny little, what I call Persian cucumbers, you wouldn't have needed to peel them. But all they had at the market were just the traditional cucumbers, which have a thicker skin, and it's more bitter. So that's why we peeled it. I do prefer either the English or the Persian cucumbers because I like the skin on those.
And she's racist.
I guess. I could make a penis joke too, but I'll refrain. Well, given the size of the different cucumbers. Anyway, that's why we peeled this particular one. Need the grater?
Yes, please. I don't either.
Get up here. Yes.
All right, so another orange kitchen utensil. I always get orange when I can. Grater. Yeah. I'm actually gonna grate this onto a paper towel so it's easy to pick up afterwards. But I'm just gonna grate the carrots. I'll use this side. It's a pretty large grate. You won't be able to see it, but when you're grating, don't grate your fingers. So I usually, keep my fingers away and go to town.
While he's doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about the tofu that I've used. Oh, did you throw away the package?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was going to show you the
Sorry.
package that I used. I used extra firm tofu, which comes in like a little plastic container. and it's packed in water. So when you get it, you want to pierce the top of it, which is like a firm plastic seal, and drain the water. And be careful that it doesn't fall in the sink when you do that. And then what I did was I took a strainer like this and a bowl, and I lined the strainer with paper towel, and I put the whole thing of tofu in the strainer like that and laid it in there, and then put a little plate on top, and then I actually put the jar of peanut butter that we're using later on top of the plate, and that gets the extra water out of the tofu. It all drained into the bowl. And the reason I don't have it to show you is that I have also marinated the tofu. I chopped it up into like bite-sized pieces, and it's just the juice of one orange and about 2 tablespoons of this Bragg's liquid aminos, which we use instead of soy sauce. It's just a lot less sodium. I believe it's also gluten-free. I'm checking right now. It says vegetable protein from soybeans and purified water. So yeah, I don't see any wheat products, which some soy sauce has. And there's also just an onion chopped up in there. So it's been marinating for a couple hours. We are going to roast or bake it when we roast the cauliflower that we have here too. And we'll include that with the pasta salad when it's done. So the purpose of draining the tofu is just to get the excess water out. It also helps it absorb the marinade because the excess liquid has been drained out. If you don't have time to do it, especially with the extra firm tofu, it really is not that big of a deal. The softer tofus tend to have more liquid in them, and just kind of have a spongier texture. So we've got the carrots grated up here. They'll be nice, kind of crunchy texture, almost like coleslaw in the salad. And now you're gonna get to work on the cucumber, which Kimbo's excited about.
Yes, Kimbo gets all these pieces. So for cucumber, I'm just gonna cut it kind of into a dice. So I tend to, yeah. I always start with like those vertical pieces. So we're going for pieces, you know, nice little squares. I pride myself on making relatively uniform pieces. Some people prefer to get rid of the seeds from the middle, so like you just run a spoon through it. I tend to like having the seeds in there. Okay. I know, right, D-Rec? Seeds are always yummy. Giggity. Oh yeah, and the marinade, my wife forgot to say that there's ginger and garlic as well.
I'll show how to peel ginger in a minute.
Yeah, we'll show you how to peel the ginger. Just a minute. Okay. Alright, so we got all of our nicely diced cucumber. Okay. Towel? Towel?
Right behind you.
Okay. Welcome back, Turtle. Let's see, next up we'll do the bell pepper. So remember last night we do our 2 verticals and then we start rolling the pepper. And then the little guy, so we get all the seeds captured. And then this guy, Kimbo went in the other room,
She's got something else, I think.
so she gets that.
Show this.
Yeah.
So I've got the tofu on a baking sheet that I first put foil and then parchment paper on it. And pop it in the oven just to get it baking. I've got the oven at 425, so it's pretty high. It should bake pretty quickly. And this recipe I actually learned when I was in college at Santa Barbara in California, which is actually where Tony and I met. I worked at a produce store, and most of our customers were either like the original hippies or the buyers for a lot of restaurants nearby. And so when they would come in to buy product, I'd ask them how they cooked certain ingredients. And tofu I'd never worked with before. Bok choy also. So this is kind of a mix of recipes that I learned when I was working there. The tofu marinade, you can either bake or you can kind of stir fry it. And then the bok choy, eating it raw with this kind of dressing. The dressing actually works really well as a dip for a lot of vegetables. You can just use it for bell peppers and stuff too, or as a dressing. And it works really well for all different kinds of proteins, like a chicken dip, like a satay kind of thing, or for fish also. So that's where it kind of comes from. And go Gauchos.
Yes, go Gauchos. So I've got the bell pepper prepped just like last night, trying to remove, not last night, the last time, any of the ribs or the membranes. And I'm just gonna try and get like a pretty fine dice, or not dice, I'm sorry.
Oops, sorry.
Easy earthquake. And what I'm gonna do is take the pepper, keep it kind of longer way this way, and I choke up on the knife, so I get my index finger all the way up, and I just start making vertical slits. And you can see it makes really nice, thin pieces, kind of like a julienne style. Be careful when doing this that you don't whip the knife into yourself and slice.
Yeah.
Go slow as you need to.
I actually really like this knife to do this with. It's like
So-
a small serrated knife. It's probably 5 inches or so. I have smaller hands. I feel like I have more control over this. I use this for tomatoes a lot too. I don't know. Tony's more experienced with the knife. I feel like that gives me a little greater sense of control when I'm trying to do something this fine.
Plus, I just like showing off my knife skills.
Yeah, well, you've learned knife skills.
Yeah, so
Not all of us are as fancy pants.
we get these nice, thin pieces. Can we use the butcher knife again? Sure. I'll use the butcher knife. I'll find something to use it on, don't worry.
The cauliflower.
Oh, I'll use it on the cauliflower. Good call. Actually, since this is all going in the same thing, I'm going to add that to the carrots.
Yeah, that's all about.
Yeah.
So this we'll need to double wash, but that can wait. And then this we can all put in the colander to rinse it too.
Okay. So I'm going to we've got some tomatoes left over from a few days ago. And yeah, Ninja Turtle hype. I'm gonna do something I typically don't do. We were talking about this the other night.
We can use it for the dressing. The seeds.
Yeah.
Here, I need to put it in a bowl tonight.
So you got you can just take the lid off. Take the lid off.
I already burnt myself once.
Keep it on the high heat though.
Alright.
So to cut down on the wateriness of all the vegetables, we want them to be pretty firm. I'm actually going to remove the seeds, so we only are going to work with the skin. So I'm just going to take all this out, and then I'll retain all of this, so when we make the dressing, we can use it in the dressing. Can be.
So I'm getting another baking sheet together for the cauliflower. The first step we do is it's called like a jelly roll pan technically. It's got a little lip on it. And we line it with foil. And then I'm going to take a sheet of parchment paper, which sounds fancy, but we buy it from Costco, so it's really not very fancy. And it's just like non-stick paper basically, but it's not like wax paper. It doesn't have a residue on it. And so I'll just take a sheet and then line that on top of the foil. The advantage of that is you don't really have to use much extra oil with any of the products that you're putting on top, other than the seasoning oil you may use. And it also doesn't stick to anything. And you can just like fold it up and toss it, and it's much easier to clean the sheet pan that you've used. So that's why we do both.
Yep. Good explanation. Okay, so for the tomatoes, I want them to be about the same size as the cucumber. So just make nice little cubes. Hey, Kate. Yeah. You missed it. I was talking about how my stream skill is about the same as yours because I couldn't figure out my music situation earlier, and then I deafened everyone. That's fine.
I see.
Hey, at least I was honest. I always say there's nothing I say that I wouldn't say to people's faces.
That's very true.
Yes, my wife can attest to that.
I get blamed for Kimbo's farts.
Yes, she gets blamed for Kimbo's farts.
Can you see my burn? I don't think you can.
You might be able to. I don't know. Okay. Tomatoes. Oh yeah, Kate. I forgot to tell you. But yes. Protect my stream. I know you will.
We'll do the cauliflower when you get that in the oven.
Yeah. All right. I'll work on the cauliflower next. We're honestly just using this because we,
Had it.
yeah, we had it and we needed to get rid of it. So,
And we used to make this recipe a lot when we did eat meat, and we made it with chicken quite frequently. And I would just get one of those like pre-roasted chickens that they sell at the market and just shred it up and put it in. It was very good. So you can make this even less maintenance. Like you wouldn't necessarily need the pasta even if you're doing it that way. Ah, there's the cleaver.
that was actually really easy. I'm glad you told me to use this. Have to keep that in mind for going through cauliflower. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, look at that. That was pretty great.
You've not done that before?
Huh?
You've not done that before?
Oh, the cleaver. As I prep this, do you want to talk about the ginger?
Sure. Any tips you have for that stuff?
Okay, yeah. So to prep the cauliflower, essentially what I did is I just cut it straight down the middle. And you can actually see. Oh, jeez, making a mess. It exposes the entire core, and these little pieces on the end are called florets. I chopped off the bottom because it's basically all this extra,
Stem.
yeah, stuff you don't want to eat. And so what I'm going to do now is kind of go through the core and remove it and just leave the florets on the end, which will then just, throw some simple, olive oil or salt, pepper, just a real simple preparation for it, since there's going to be a lot of flavor coming from the dressing.
Yeah, it's like the palm of your hand and your fingers.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? So while I work on this a little bit, she's going to tell you how to clean and trim ginger.
So this is fresh ginger, which I put a little bit in the marinade for the tofu, and we're going to use it in the dressing for the salad as well. There's the core. The easiest way to peel ginger, because the ginger in general is really fibrous, and the peel in particular is, and it's kind of nasty, so you want to get the peel off. If you take just like a regular teaspoon cereal spoon and take it against the stem of it and just go towards you, the peel comes off really easily, and you're not going to cut yourself as if you were, because a peeler or a knife, since it's so knobby and weirdly shaped, you're really likely to cut yourself. So a spoon gets it off super easily, and you're not going to hurt yourself. If you leave a little bit on, it's not a big deal. So you don't have to worry about getting everything off, but just try to get off as much as you can. And then we're gonna grate it with the same microplane that we used for the citrus the other day, which I'll show you in just a minute. So you just want to go down the whole stem to get as much of the peel off as you can. We will do the same method and just like slice little discs out of the ginger and steep it in hot water and add lemon juice and ground cinnamon and honey, and it makes a really nice drink. And if you add whiskey, then it's like a nice little hot toddy and it tastes really good. So fresh ginger is a nice thing to have on hand. It's a nice like warm spicy flavor. If you're cooking soup or something, you can even just add it whole like this once it's been peeled. You don't really have to chop it up. It adds a lot of flavor even like this. So the knobby ends like this, I'm just kind of pulling off because they're going to be too hard to deal with. I've got most of the peel off now. So
Where you going? It's put away.
So this is what's called a microplane, and some of you may have seen this before. We used it for getting the zest off of citrus, which you'll see again in a minute. And I'm going to use it for the ginger right now to grate it into the bowl that I'm going to use to make the dressing. So you just grate it against it like this. It might be kind of hard to see where I'm going to go, but I'm just going to go up and down like this to make kind of a paste. I'll show you when it's done. And again, since ginger is fibrous, you're going to get kind of like these little flaky ends on it. So just be careful because it can make it a little easier to cut yourself on this. You're going to need to clean off the microplane a little more frequently than you would with citrus. It smells really good.
Making a mess tonight. So just remove the core again on this. Start exposing the florets. Some of them will just break apart by hand. You get just a nice piece.
If you can't find fresh ginger, a lot of stores do sell ground ginger, but just be careful on how much you use because it's super potent and really spicy. So just use a little bit at a time and kind of keep adding it. But you'll see it makes kind of a paste that looks almost like ground garlic, and that's what I'm adding right now to the dressing mix. And I've got quite a lot in here, probably about a tablespoon. We both like ginger, and with the peanut, it's gonna, with all the fat in peanut butter, we want to try to cut that a little bit with some sharper flavors. So the ginger will help cut through that a little bit.
So I've got the cauliflower on that foil lined sheet pan with the parchment paper. I'm going to go ahead and add because we're not sauteing this, I'm going to go ahead and actually use an olive oil because we're not going to get it up to a super high temperature. We're roasting it, and the olive oil has a lot more flavor than the grapeseed oil, which we've been using when we've sauteed a couple of things. So just a nice little bit of olive oil on this. Our salt and pepper seasoning. And I know cauliflower is something that people don't necessarily really like. I think it's one of those things similar to Brussels sprouts that they probably had as a kid and they were prepared in kind of a gross way. No offense to anyone's parents. Even my wife, she up until recently when I started making it more, and she gave it another chance, did she finally start liking it again. When she was a kid, she had it probably steamed and boring and under-seasoned, and it does not taste that great that way. So by roasting it with some just good quality olive oil, some salt, some pepper, cutting it into appropriate sized pieces, that helps really make a good flavor.
It brings out, I'll wait till you're done. It brings out like the nutty, sweet flavors of it as opposed to the like stinky feet flavor.
Yes. Similar to Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
They've kind of gone through a revival in the last 5 years or so, I'd say, where it's very popular to have it on restaurants' menus, but go back maybe 10 years and you would never see Brussels sprouts on a menu. They're associated with gross kid food because they are incredibly healthy for you. And again, your parents probably made them by just steaming them, and then they taste like feet. And
smell gross.
Yeah, they smell gross, and but roasting them, frying them, there's other ways of preparing them, which might be a little less healthy, but you still get all the health benefits of the vegetable, and then it tastes awesome.
Roasting's still pretty healthy, though.
Yeah.
So I've zested 2 limes, just using the microplane here, into the dressing bowl, and now I'm going to juice them as well. Can you hand me the little juicer thing?
The small one?
The green one. Thank you. We've got these little things, which are like little squeezers.
They're like color coordinated. There's a yellow one for lemons, and they're essentially the appropriate size for the fruit you're using. We have a big orange one that's for oranges as well.
You could probably get away with just the orange one and use them for everything, but we found them on Amazon for a set that was pretty cheap, and it's nice. You get a lot of juice out of everything with this method. It's just one of the tools. We use a lot of citrus, and it's nice to have the whole thing. We were talking about getting kind of a list together of some of the tools that we use frequently. So obviously I think some of the knives are some of the requests, but if there's anything else that people are looking for. Alright. So I've also got now 2 limes in here. I need some garlic also.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to use the Bragg's liquid aminos in here. We just kind of want to echo the same flavors throughout. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons to start. Dressing is something that I kind of play with as I'm making it, which I know is probably not the easiest thing to watch as we make it, but that's something we'll get better with as we do this, of recipe testing and then letting you know how much we actually use. Next, I've got apple cider vinegar, which has just kind of a richer, fruitier flavor than some other vinegar options. Also has some supposed health benefits, but just is kind of the flavor profile we're going for. If I had rice wine vinegar, that's what I would go for, but we thought we had some and we didn't, so that's why we're using this. I'm gonna use about a tablespoon. And then here I have dark sesame oil, which has a nice, rich, nutty flavor, but it's really, really strong. So you don't want to use very much, especially to start. I'm probably going to only use about a teaspoon right now, and then I might add more later as I get the flavor going, but I don't want to overpower it. It's a very strong flavor.
Okay. Got the green onions. Mm-hmm. So, I'm gonna prep some green onions or scallions right now. The most oniony part of this is going to be the piece down by the base, the closest part to where it comes out the ground. You can use all the way up through the green part as well. It's not quite as strong of a flavor, and the texture actually changes a little bit, but it has a nice crisp to it. So, yeah. Just gonna cut these on the relatively small side. Do you want all of them?
Up to you. So I've just got creamy peanut butter, nothing too fancy. We like the pretty natural peanut butter, but even if you've just got Jif or Skippy or whatever, that will totally work. Smooth is easier to work with than chunky, but if all you have is chunky on hand, it will also work just fine. You might just need a little bit more to make up for the fact that you have more peanut than butter texture. This is a new jar, so I just need to mix it up a little bit here. And this is going to make, obviously, the biggest base of the dressing, and it's going to make it pretty thick and creamy, so you don't want to add too much because it's going to be pretty hard to thin it out if you put too much in to begin with. So I'm only going to put about 2 tablespoons in to start.
Green onions are yummy, I agree.
Did you have them all?
Mm-hmm.
So you can show how we store them. Alright. Setting that aside.
Okay, next I'm gonna prep some cilantro. This should be the last thing, right?
Got the bok choy still.
Ah, shit, let me do that. Forgot about the bok choy.
And I also have this chili sauce. It's like a paste. It's made by the same company that makes sriracha. It's pretty. I think there's probably a paper thing. Yeah. Ooh, hello. It's pretty thick. It's almost like the same consistency as ketchup. And you can even see the pepper flakes in it. It's super hot. It's actually like making my eyes water right as I open it. You could use hot sauce or sriracha if that's all you have. This just gives it kind of a deeper flavor without thinning out the dressing. And you don't need to use quite as much of it. But it is pretty potent. So if you find this, just beware. Don't use very much of it to start with, because you could open up your sinuses pretty quickly, especially when you've already got the ginger in there. So I'm only using like probably half a teaspoon?
Yeah.
Teaspoon to start. I'm probably gonna add more, especially with the peanut butter in there. It'll cut the heat quite a bit, but I don't want to knock us out. And then, actually I'll use the olive oil. Since we just have a little bit of olive oil left, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon. Then I've got a whisk. I'm just going to start whisking it up.
Oh, that's what she wants.
Oh, the peanut butter?
Yeah, Kimbo's very interested, but not in the bok choy, and I just realized it's the peanut butter that she wants.
The nice thing with the peanut butter is that it really binds together the acid from the lime juice and the vinegar to the fats in the peanut butter. It helps emulsify everything together, which with something especially like a pasta salad that you may keep for a few days, it's not going to separate. It'll help keep its form around all of the ingredients. It doesn't get all like coagulated.
And so for the bok choy, I'm doing a similar process to what we did with, the Swiss chard. It's called a chiffonade. So I'm taking some of the leaves, and rather than rolling them in on each other down towards the stem, I want the stems to have some nice texture to them. So this is all about contrasting both the kind of softness of the leaf with the crunchiness of the stem. So I'm rolling it kind of in on itself, like so, and then chopping it horizontally across. So that way we get nice pieces of the leaf and nice pieces of the stem to have kind of contrasting textures.
Taste.
Well, that's good. Needs more salt. And it needs more heat. Please.
It needs more salt.
Oh, Alan's in here.
Hmm?
Alan's here.
Hey, Alan. Alright, so we need more heat. I've already added a little bit more of this, but I'm gonna add some more. Bear in mind too, we're adding this to pasta salad, which the pasta is gonna eat up a lot of the flavor. If you were adding this to something that were only vegetables, you may not need as much of that. So keep in mind the ingredients that you are including with this. The pasta too is going to soak up a lot of the dressing, so we're going to need a little bit more dressing than you may need if you're only using vegetables. So that's something to bear in mind as you are building the dressing. So I'm going to just use more of the liquid aminos for the salt because it has a little more depth of flavor than just straight salt would. And then I think I'm actually we have some chili powder, so I'm going to add that as well. Hi. I didn't know I had peanut butter, I'm sorry. Oops.
And yes, I should be wearing this shirt when I am making pizza instead of something healthy. Or relatively healthy.
You can see like how combined, oh maybe you can, I'll come over here.
Yeah, good in front.
How combined the dressing is. It's not super thick. It's, I'm trying to think of what consistency.
It's like pancake batter.
Yeah,
A little bit thinner.
but the peanut butter actually dissolves pretty quickly since we have so much of the acid in there from the lime juice and the apple cider vinegar. But it also holds everything together, like I said. Oh, do we need to double wash it though, yeah?
Yeah.
Do we have the colander?
Yeah. Just the yellow. Is that okay?
You wanna put this over there?
Sure. So on average, how long does this take to make? So if I wasn't streaming this, I would be making this quite a bit faster.
Yeah.
I would say it still takes a good 45 minutes to get everything
All the
together.
chopping.
Yeah, it's a lot of prep work. You know, you can obviously use less vegetables for it, make it more pasta heavy. That would be a lot faster.
Or just
And-
more lettuce heavy.
Yeah, and also, I mean, there are shortcuts. We like to make our own dressings, but you could buy a pre-made peanut-style dressing, and that will cut down a huge amount of time because you don't have to make the dressing then. I'm just all about having those raw flavors. I find it to be much more
Well, and when
better
we made
tasting.
it with the roasted chicken that we used to buy, it was also a lot faster because that
Yeah.
put up the bulk of the meal that we didn't have to make. But using, when you buy like the romaine hearts, or even just the full romaine at the market, and you chop that up, you just leave it whole and slice it, and then rinse it in a colander like this. That goes really quickly, and you can do that with just a couple of other vegetables like a bell pepper and a cucumber. And then whether you want to use chicken or the tofu or salmon or whatever, that limits the ingredients that you're using quite a bit. So that cuts down on the time a lot. We just we like a variety of vegetables, and again, also we had some stuff we wanted to get rid of, like the cauliflower. So it's increasing some of the stuff that we're using. But also the dressing, you can make way ahead of time, and like I said, we use it for a lot of other stuff. I'll make a bigger batch and just use it as a snack for dipping other stuff in it. So if you make that, you know, a day or two ahead of time, that also cuts down on how much time you're spending doing this. So you can cut it down to like a 15-20 minute recipe if you really wanted to. But it can also turn into 45 minutes or an hour depending upon what kind of ingredients you're putting into it.
And that's the other thing too, is both of us really enjoy cooking, so we add a bunch of extra stuff and, you know, kind of elongate the steps because this is something we both find fun. I know a lot of people just want, you know, when they're cooking, they just want to eat. So there are shortcuts that that you can take that, you know, it will affect the final product, but not enough to the point of like, you know, you eat frickin' Taco Bell every day, and this is going to taste, in my opinion, a lot better, and it's a hell of a lot better for you. So the last thing we're doing is prepping some cilantro. We kind of went over the differences between cilantro and parsley already, but this one is cilantro. You can see the leaves are a little bit smaller and obviously has a very different smell to it. This goes good with the flavors that we're using. There's a lot of acid. There's some heat. I prefer this quite a bit. Yeah, Turtle eats Taco Bell every day.
You could also get like the prepared salad bags that they sell if you didn't want to do like any prep. You know, as far as the greens go, and then just get, you know, 1 or 2 vegetables to add to it. And again, if you eat meat, get one of the roasted chickens. Hard-boiled eggs would maybe be something good in it. So if you do want to cut down on the time, like you can pretty much just make the dressing and then get very simple stuff to add to it. It doesn't need to be nearly as complex. It goes with a lot of different flavors. You just want to get something more of the heartier greens. You don't want to get like the spring mix that's kind of too soft to hold up. So you'd want to get, if they do have like the prepared Caesar salad kind of lettuces, like a romaine, a spinach would probably hold up pretty well. Just something a little more firm to hold up to the heaviness of the dressing and also the flavors of it.
And anything else? I mean, we can start assembling.
Mm-hmm.
So should we just use a big bowl?
Yeah.
So now we just start to assemble. Got a big bowl.
Just bring in the pasta over. It's good to do this when the pasta is still a little bit warm because it'll absorb the flavors from the stuff that you're putting into it. But if it's cold, it's fine. And it's also good if it still has a tiny bit of the pasta water still in there because it'll help mix some of the dressing into it. We don't have very much in there, but it's still a little bit damp.
Tofu.
Which you can see has a nice little like brown crust on it. It's firmed up a little bit.
Then we'll do the tomatoes, carrots, and the bell peppers. cucumber. And the bok choy. Jesus. Should need a bigger bowl. Okay. And then in the salad, I'm actually only going to put a little bit of the green onion because we're going to use this more as a garnish afterwards. Kind of add as much as you would like. And then same with the parsley.
Cilantro.
Sorry, cilantro. Only going to use a little bit, and then we'll add more later, like kind of as we eat it.
Dressing.
Dressing. And then the dressing. And then, oh, there you go. We stir.
You want to be gentle so you don't break up the tofu too much.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like folding. So like taking from the bottom, working up the side of the bowl, and then folding it forward. Peanuts. Yeah.
Again, that would you put on top.
What's that?
Put on top.
Yeah. Just always gotta show them. Shit.
We have dry roasted peanuts.
Yeah. Dry roasted peanuts. So this is, again, more so for garnish as you're eating it. So as we have a bowl of it, we'll put that on top of it.
I'm not gonna snap on while you wait.
Yeah. But so you can see, this is kind of what the final product looks like.
And it keeps really well, so.
Yeah, this is something that'll keep for quite a few days. And it just gets better tasting because all the flavors really come together in the fridge as it sits overnight. We're obviously going to have this for dinner tonight, but we'll also have it for probably a day or two afterwards. And the only other thing that we would potentially add to this is the cauliflower, but it's still roasting up in the oven. It's really almost better as a side dish, in my opinion. But yeah, this is kind of how we prepare it more regularly. This is something that we have pretty often here. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this again. Thank you all for hanging out and watching. A little bit less cooking. This was much more of a preparation type dish, which again, there's a lot of shortcuts that you can take in doing so. But just anytime that my wife and I will be having dinner, I want to be able to show you guys what we're doing to give you ideas, and want to start doing this on a more regular basis. I really appreciate everyone hanging out. Got a couple more follows tonight, and just try and make this a more regular thing that happens. So I hope everyone has a great rest of their night. Love you all. And I'll be in touch. Like I said, I want to have a little bit more of a regular schedule. I know over the weekend we were pretty insane. Like we were getting a ton of stuff going on. So I want to make sure I'm streaming on the weekends as well. But I want to provide some content for you guys during the week for whoever wants to join. I mean, even if it's only one or two of you, I just want to be able to teach and share my knowledge. And yeah, I hope everyone has a nice evening. I'm rambling at this point, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it. Take care, and watch on Twitter, and I mean, I know most of you anyway, so I'll just let you know when the next one's going to be, but probably in the next day or two. All right, good night.